students 2 years ago. In the fall of 2016, I started taking classes here. And immediately I felt the peace on campus, the wholesome atmosphere. I just attribute that to the so many Christian youth being here on campus and the legacy of Trinity Western University. And it reminded me of my college 20 years previously in Texas, which was Bible College. It brought back good memories. On the other hand, I saw some things which did disturb me a lot. Just to be completely upfront, when I saw the student newspaper, the direction that it took that particular year, I know that the editor has given a lot of leeway, yet I was so disturbed by it. For those who don't know, there was a strong LGBTQ agenda throughout that year, the issues that were brought forth. And already by the time of the second issue, I went to the Student Life office. And I met with the man in charge there. And this is the point that I'm now making. It concerns governance. That when I brought up the issue that the editor was not following not only the student leader agreement, but also the community covenant in the most basic of ways by promoting an agenda which is at odds with the simplest interpretation of the community covenant, marriage between one man and one woman, then I had to say something, but it was not treated as an issue with a student leader who's not following the guidelines of the university. It was made into a Matthew 18 situation. Though I had never met the editor or exchanged a single word, it was portrayed as that, and then it was left up to me to really do my own research to ask for the student leadership agreement and read through that and point out the violations. We did meet with the student council 2 years ago, and we did present several issues in the newspaper. I had highlighted portions. They were very subversive in regards to what this university stands for. And yet I was asked, well, you're not going to do anything about this, are you, John? And I said, no, I'm not. And I had a few ideas in the back of my head of things I could do, but I don't want to hurt the university by any means. And definitely it's the university that needs to respond to this sort of problem. And I was very impressed as a business owner, and I'm aware that there are parents here who would be allowing in our own homes a complete lack of governance, or in our businesses, a complete lack of governance. And then why is it that the university has not taken the simple step of telling the student leader that they are not abiding by the agreement, which they signed to, and this could have been nipped in the bud so easily. And what it eventually became, I don't know how many people are aware of this, every single issue was promoting that agenda, and eventually it reached such a level of media interest that on the front page of the province newspaper one day, I happened to see there's a photo of a former TWU student who had to air her discontent that she felt so stifled in regards to her sexuality while she was attending here. And does it really have to get to that point where something that could be stopped so easily and so simply in the beginning is allowed to grow to that extent? And I would say that's an embarrassment to the university, and it's an indication that there's a lack of governance. And I think it will only continue to get worse, that this agenda is not stopping. They're definitely not stopping. And so what will the university do? And I think some of the most simplest of steps could be that student leaders not be elected by the student body. Why do they have to be elected by the student body? Where do we see in the Bible that the great men and women of faith were the average person who was accepted by the multitude? Instead, we see people who have a heart to stand up for God's ways, even if they're the only one doing it. That is what we see. And are those not the kind of student leaders that we want? And those kind of leaders need to be chosen, not voted. And this could very well be done. A change could be made, and that would be one thing that could be done. Also, all the leadership positions, they should be mentored and groomed to fill those positions. That the students who really have a heart for God, who will eventually be the world changers for God, and that will abide by everything the university actually stands for, that they be encouraged, that they be identified, that they be mentored by faculty and administration that also have a heart for God's ways, as opposed to just letting whoever it is just occupy that position if they want to badly enough. So I would say this is an issue of governance, and it involves hiring the faculty, it involves student leadership, and there's an enormous amount of pressure by some very intelligent people to push their agenda. And if we are not taking steps to stop that, then the battle is lost. And